Hello, my name is Sarah Brown and I work for the ISP group and I work on the central learning team and I am head of something that we call Learning First. So I'm head of our Learning First methodology and approach.
What are some aspects of our school that you find impressive or unique?
Oh my goodness, impressive and unique. Okay, so what I find most impressive is that when you walk into this school, it's clear that everybody is a teacher and everybody's a learner. So what do I mean by that? I mean that this is a school on a journey of getting better and you're doing it together, right? So it's teachers and students and parents. So kind of in partnership, there's this shared mission for getting better. This is a school where your teachers care deeply about you, the students, and they care deeply about each other. And everyone's working together to ask themselves, how can we keep getting better for ourselves, for our students, for our community? And I think for me that's really impressive.
In your opinion, what strengths does our school have that helps students succeed?
What strengths do you have? I kind of mentioned it before, but I think it's this openness and willingness to change, right? And change can be quite scary and change can be quite intense. And change can take time, and it's much easier to do things the way you've always done them, right? But you're a school that's saying, let's look critically, for that critical analysis, let's look critically about what we're doing and what's working and why it's working, and other areas where it's not having the impact we want, so how can we get better?
How do you envision the future of education evolving in the next 5 to 10 years?
That's not very far off, is it? So I think we'll see a lot of kind of accelerated change with technology, with the use of AI. Your school actually is changing a lot of things quite quickly and quite quickly is seeing an impact through its different strategies, whether it's like questioning or learning pit stop. I think a lot of the discussions about the future of education right now, they're missing critical voices, and your voices, the voices of the students, are missing from that conversation. So if you were to go up and look now at like policies or white papers or what governments are saying about education, they're all discussions and decisions made by adults for adults, and those, what does the future of education look like if you have a big company behind that, you know, whether it's the World Bank or it's the OECD or maybe it's UNESCO, but these big papers are very influential, and what they do is they paint a very compelling vision about the future of education, and people work towards that vision. But what that means is opportunities for thinking differently about education are minimised because we're now working towards visions set by other people. So what I'd like to see is more student voice in the discussion. I would like us opening up to communities, getting different perspectives, because education isn't a thing that happens in a school. That's not the only place, right? And I think if we could bring in more community, if we could have intergenerational learning, so we can learn at any stage of life and learn together, I think those will be the big changes that come in kind of maybe longer than 5 to 10 years, but a complete rethinking of, does education happen in a school? Does education just happen with students? What is the purpose of education? When can we be educated? How can we be educated? I think those are the big changes that are coming, but only if we open up the conversation to involve more people. Thank you.
Hi there, I am Jeff Ison. I'm a campus principal. I work at another Tenby school up just outside Kuala Lumpur, so Tenby Setia Eco Park. Been there for 12 years, so been quite a long time there.
How would you describe the overall atmosphere and culture of our school?
As soon as we walked in, the atmosphere was really positive. Every kind of classroom I've gone into, young people are so enthusiastic to come and say hello. They want to show off, they're really proud. You're all really proud of your school, which is such a nice thing to see. Even from down in early years behind us, all the way up to kind of Form 5 and Year 11. So the atmosphere is one of real pride, real commitment to learning, wanting to get better. The tour that I had by a Year 11 student that took me around the school was all about showing off, and I love that because she was just saying how great a time she has here, and the same's been with the teachers, just been really kind of positive. The culture is one about trying to get better, trying to learn all the time, and I think Sarah mentioned adults aren't always as good as young people at that, and here I think you've got a real good culture of everybody wanting to get better, which is fantastic.
What do you think our teachers and staff do especially well to support students?
I think they care. I think that's it, right? No, and that's not it, but that's something they do especially well. Every conversation I've had with an adult here has been about how they can help the young person. It's never been about why the young person isn't doing the right thing or why they can't be helped. It's always about, this is what we're trying to do to help the young person, and they care about it. There's lots of opportunities for young people here to talk to adults if they've got concerns, if they've got worries, and it's a very open kind of school like that. And I think for me, the one thing that they do, other than planning wonderful lessons and trying to get you great grades and give you lots of opportunities, is they just really care about what they do, and you can feel that all the time. So yeah, that's how I'd encompass all the little things that they do, because they work incredibly hard and they work lots and lots of hours. That's really clear, to plan lots of lessons and run CCAs and run trips and all these sort of things, the ILOS things that are going on. But it's about having that care in the first place to want to do all that stuff, and I think that's what you have here.
What do you think is the best feature of our school community?
I think the best feature for me is I'm always going to start with young people. I think, whenever I talk about my school, I try to show off about the young people, and I think it's the same here. The best feature, the reason why there is such a caring attitude from the adults is because the young people here want to get better. They want to be involved in their learning. They want to challenge, and they want to kind of have fun at school, which is brilliant.
What future developments or improvements would you like to see in the ISP model?
I think working, as I do inside the ISP schools, I think there's lots of really clear improvements that we as adults are kind of getting our head around at the moment. Like I talk about kind of, multilingualism is something that as schools we're trying to really improve and develop, which makes a school more inclusive. You talked about community and culture. I think if you can get forward and move forward in having lots of home languages respected and used, and then developing lots of young people to speak a number of languages, then that will create a model of a school that's really inclusive and welcoming and has great community and great culture. So that's something that I think we can expect. It's already starting to happen. I think that'll definitely move forward. I think, what's lucky about working in an ISP or going to an ISP school is that there is a dedicated focus on learning. I'm here this week looking at learning, that you've got kind of 4 people from around the world come to the school to look for learning, and kind of help the school move forward in learning. So that model is a real positive one, and I think we're lucky to have that in ISP. I don't think it exists everywhere.
Thank you so much.
Not a problem, thank you.